Hello everyone, welcome to another session of webinar on Mule application development. In this session, I'm going to introduce a new component, which is just come with Mule Anypoint Studio 3.7 or Mule ESB 3.7. This is really very powerful new transformation tool. I think everybody should learn it as quick as possible. Before you might have done using data mapper, for example, using customer code, they call customer transformer. I have done this many times. I like both. I like especially the customer transformer. You can do so much. But this new tool, we call DataWeave, has a lot of potential. It will increase your productivity. This is just the first session. I want to introduce how do you set up, how to create a simple flow. Gradually, I will introduce more complicated cases. Okay, here you go. So I already create a flow. So I'm going to test a little bit, and then I'm going to delete it. So I'll create it from scratch. So you will learn the whole procedure. So here the HTTP connector. As you can see, I named as transform1, and I have metadata related to it. I will cover it. There's no worry, and there's a transformer. I do it. As you can see, I'm going to transform into this kind of form, right? I'll do a demo first, and then I will, as I said, I'll delete the project from scratch. All right. So let's try. Let's see if it's running or not. It's not running, so I'm going to run it. So the code I create a project called the DataWeave demo, and say okay. So it will run. Let's see. Okay, now it started, right? I'm going to use the Postman. I think this is the best tool for test this kind of service, RESTful services. So this is a simple JSON. If you're not familiar with editors, I would recommend this called Sublime Text 2. It's a very nice tool. It parses your JSON file very well. So I would recommend everybody to take a look if you're in this business. All right, so this is the result I already run, but I'm going to run again. So here is the URL transform1. So I will send it. So I will send. Okay, here's the result, and also you can see. All right, so in this case, you don't see much because I didn't do any logging. I didn't do anything. What I can do, I can add the debug logging. That is in another blog. I covered how you're going to create your own logger. So so I create a change for example here, change the Mule application logging. This is another blog I did it. The new version of Mule, okay, sorry. The new version of the Mule has you have to use this default log4j2.xml to create debug logging. It's very useful. You need it because when you run it, as you can see, there's nothing here, right? Debugging is very important. Debugging log. so a lot of details. I will cover more about probably debugging the Mule Studio later on. There is a lot you can do. If you want to be a good in development, you have to learn the debugging purpose. Okay, so of course this is not the other session. I might be able to cover it. For now, we just this session I want you to learn the DataWeave. All right, so as you can see, I run it. Here is the result, right? So here is ABC. Now it become items, and the CBA become name. Actually, the AAA become name. This become address, DDD, CBA. It's kind of transformation. I basically want to show you how to do transformation. The more complicated we need to cover will be doing the later on. Anyway, so as I want to show you this. I'm going to stop it. I'm going to delete the project because a little bit different now from the setting up the connector point of view. All right, so I'm going to delete this project. You need to be very careful when you do development. Don't try before delete the better copy it somewhere. But I mean this is so simple. I'm going to just delete it. So I delete the source. Yeah, because there's a link. All right. Yeah, I did some prototyping on this earlier. So as you can see, I have a little bit complicated cases have been developed. I will cover that later on, but for now, let's do this. So create a new project. If you watch my previous tutorial, this is nothing is new. You can name it as DataWeave. I name as demo. So, all right. You can use Maven, but for now, for the simplicity, I'm not going to do it. There's nothing to do here. Default in my workspace. So just finish it, right? So here is demo. Just create a HTTP connector, drop here. Nothing new really. So here, let me see, nothing here, right? Do add. So we are going to add a new HTTP connector. I'm going to name as 2, as I have so many 801. Another interesting I haven't covered is you can put this into property. You should, I think everybody should learn this. HTTP.port. All right. In this way, you don't have to hard code it, right? So what happened that you can change it later on. You don't have to change the configuration here. So I do OK. If you click here that. So now what happened? Remember I said I create a variable. So here you can put your variable, right? HTTP.port equal to, remember I want to 8802, right? So save that. This file is saved. And if you go back here and you can edit it. So here is still there, right? Okay. So now we need to define path as, this is my first transform, for example. I will name as first transform 1. As you can see, I will do later on using different paths here, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Right? So you can also define method here, get, post, right? We are going to use post, so this is important. Rest for this one is similar. So what we need to do, we need to add metadata. The metadata is tell what the input or what the output look like. So here we're going to say, okay, data type is JSON. We're going to use JSON. The ID we can create name as, say, transform1, maybe -1, right? And here we say this example. As I know, MuleSoft, you have to do this way now. You provide an example first, and then they know how to use it. Later on, I think this will be in a kind of either XML form or some other form, so you can do that way. So what I have created a few examples here. Open. So as I said, you might take a look at this. So this I have transform 1 like this, 2 like that, 3 like that. A little bit complicated, different cases. Okay, I'm going to cover later on. So the first one, is JSON, is very simple like this. All right. So I'm going to So name transform1 file, right? So here, if you look, is transform JSON. So this is just define the type, input type. That pretty much, if you look at output, it has a JSON, right? Remember, we have ABC, AA. I know it's pretty preliminary, but this for the demo purposes. You can see ABC is top here, JSON ABC here, AAA is a list of string, right? Okay, so now we create a connector. We define the metadata here, right? Now let's add a transformer. So a lot of people, you might think, oh, this probably should be in the transformer. So Mule decided put in 2 components actually. So it's called transform message. Yeah, here. But of course you can, if you know, you should always use this transform. Yeah, here it is. So under component, right here. Either way, you can drop the transform, right? When you drop that, you see that it create automatically. Here is the panel. They allow you to put scripts, right? If you preview, there's nothing here because this, right? Default is auto application Java. Look, if I change here, so let's first a simple case. I'm doing JSON, right? And it's nothing. Let's see what happened here. So do JSON here. Yeah. Nothing because this, right? Here we didn't do anything, right? So what happened if I change here? Payload. See that? So basically we're not doing anything. We transfer payload from this to that. By default they put this way output, right? So you might put this way too. Say input payload. Yeah, don't make this a mistake here. Application JSON, right? So I tell the transformer, so input is JSON, output is JSON as well. So this simply doing nothing from JSON to JSON, right? Okay, I think we can run it. Another thing interesting, you might thinking if you develop web services, you do do property, right? you should set up the response property. If it's a little bit complicated from demo point of view, but I would say content type. Okay, here I want to be application JSON. It's really not important because automatically use the JSON, but you want to force here if you want to do this way, right? So now we can save it. So basically, we create a flow and ready to run. All right. So let's see if we can run it. And I think that, yeah, sometimes because the same name is, remember this name, but it's better to do this way. Run. Wait. Okay. So you do from here, right? You do run as Mule application. As I said, I didn't put debug yet. I will do later on, say for the interesting to show you the debugging purpose. Okay, so now it's running. We can do a test, right? What happened? Remember here, we do from JSON to JSON, right? We didn't do much. This is the output, right? Let's run it. It should be ready to run. So, okay, localhost transform 1, right? Do send. Okay, so apparently it didn't do anything. So this is the output, right? Now let's change a little bit. Remember here I said I want to JSON application JSON as output. So what happened? I can change this to XML. It's very simple, right? This is the beauty about it. You define it automatically. You can see that it's changed for you here, right? And don't forget this. So I said you need to change it here, otherwise you get error. So XML, change it here as well. So you may wonder why should I do that? I mean, for the demo purpose, I don't have to add this, but in the real application, I think you should do that. Have the habit. Okay. So now it's ready. What happened? I changed to I want to be XML, right? So something like that. And now let's run again. We should get XML output here. All right. So here is the JSON output. Let's run it. This time I should get XML, right? Okay. So that's interesting. What he was saying that payload is buffer stream. Okay, let's see what happened. First, let's see here. It's application XML. Here we defined as JSON. I see this happen sometimes. This simply saying the input stream is a stream. It didn't convert it properly. So let's see. Transform 1, illegal state exception. Payload is up top. Okay. So I know how to deal with it, but let's do this first. Make sure we do stop and start. Okay, so this should not happen. Okay, so this started. Let's try again. So this will stand. Okay, so what happened is that somehow there is when you do this, there's a caching in the browser, so it causes problem. The worst case is you can add here another transformer you know, from bit to string and the string to JSON. Actually, that will, if you have some problem with space, etc., that's another way you can deal with. But in general, this is good enough. So, okay, what I did is I just start. So make sure there's no inside caching. Okay, so what we did so far, we show you the transformer with doing really nothing. Okay, this is a simple case. You may wonder that this is not really much interest. So we really want to do is show some transformation, power of transformation, right? So let's see. So this is the input. Now, if I want to export as XML, so let's here. Okay, it's XML now. And so what we need to do is here is so we can do JSON or XML. So let's see if I want to do JSON first. So basically I want to transform it, right? Let's see, JSON, and we're going to do this here. So JSON, instead of ABC, I won't say okay items, right? Something like will be like that in JSON format. So I will say okay, name equal to name. I want to transform from payload, right? So what happened? This auto. Okay, I will show you another thing. There's a auto expansion, right? Payload. Here you see when you do that, it type. So I want the ABC object. So ABC object payload. I want to see that's OBC. I want to access internal. So AAA is a release, right? I want to access that. And also, I want to check the first item. I mean, you can do first, second, or later on, right? So what I'm trying to show you is that you can access the payload by this way. If you have done Mule application, if you know the Mule, they call Mule evaluation language, MEL, it always start with this, right? Say start with payload, blah, blah, right? I'm not going to show you here now. But anyway, here you, in this transformation panel, you can directly access those key attribute. This is already defined inside the transformer. So I say address, I will do say payload, and I did AA right now. I want to do CBA, accept that. So that is the last. That's the one. So I won't try. Let's say I want to say ID. ID equal. Okay, so payload. I think I have another one. I haven't used it. I think CCC was not used, right? So I say, okay, this is a dummy purpose, right? So if you look at the preview, you'll see what happened. So this is JSON, right? So what happens if I do say XML? See that? Again, let's do JSON first. You see that? Automatic to JSON, right? You see the power now? If I save it, I think it's still running. Is it? Yeah, it's running. So when you save it, automatically reload. But here, let's see. Here, I think it's still XML. Let's do JSON first. Save. Will be reloading it. It should. So now what I want, Okay, so from JSON to JSON. Okay, JSON, the payload is like this, right? AAB. This is dummy. I'm just trying to show you. You know, you can transfer in from one name, rename it. Basically, it's a renaming possibility. Okay. Let's run it now. So same JSON input, right? And before you like this, I do nothing case. Let's try now. Send. Yeah, so see now it's much better, right? You rename. I rename the first string attribute into the name. See that? Well, that's interesting. Oh, okay. Actually, it start with 0. Remember, I put a 1. So 1 is this, right? That makes sense. So I put the address is DDD is actually this one, EE like this. All right. So now I transform from JSON to JSON, but I rename the attribute, the name, right? And now let's do so JSON. Let's say I do XML. As I said, it will automatically, you see that? Automatically change that. And we need to change it here from JSON to XML. Okay. So let's save it. So I did if you are not, I'm using MacBook, you know, command with S is saving, so automatic reload, right? Okay, so let's run it. See, here I guess the format, JSON format. Let's see if I can, this time I want to do XML, right? See what happened. Yeah, so now it's XML output. See that? So basically this, I show you how to do transformation using simple. I'm almost done. So in the next section, I plan to show you how to connect to a SOAP, web services, and then how to transform that input into XMLs, from XML to web services. And after that, I'm going to show you how to use the few keyword like a plug. So basically the case you want to how to use, for example, for the same header, you create different array of items. In this example, I use the come with the document. For the same author, I have book, I have CD, so you put them together. Basically, how to, you know, group the same item by group item by certain attribute. So that in my mind, actually I already create them. I'm going to just show you them. Before I end my demo, I think there's a very important thing I want to show you. As I said, the logging mechanism has been changed. So use this file. Let me copy this. Copy. Put this into resources. Paste. Okay. This will change. So this is XML. I might, yeah, I put this already in my blog, so you can take a look if you want to change everything into debug, right? Why you want to change debug, by the way? Especially when you're working with connectors, sometimes you want to know the detailed information pass in and get out. That's the purpose, right? So I add that. Now you have to stop this because it won't take effect dynamically, unfortunately for now. But if I run again, you will see there is a lot of information. Let's see, demo here. Let's take a look. As you can see now, the debug information come out. There is a lot information here. So there's some exceptions stuff. This you know we don't see before here. This is talking about basically there's no bean called wrapper manager. You might, if you know that when you using PC or something, you know what this means, right? So, but anyway, it's not a concern. So it's create a lot of information in the beginning how they load different classes. If you were interested, if you want to be good, you should take a look. Let me run it before I ending this so you know what to come out. So XML, let's do a send again. Okay, so this XML and see what log come out. You see now there's log, see that? This is the output. This is the session stuff. A lot of information automatically come to you. You know, all the in and out stuff. It's pretty cool, detailed stuff. And this is the input. See the JSON, right? Before the transformation, etc. So it's quite interesting stuff. So make sure you put this into your application development, and this is the another thing, you know. Make sure you put the content type. Anyway, I hope this help you. This is just an introduction, as I said earlier. This is just an introduction to DataWeave. There is a lot of stuff we can cover later on. All right, thank you for watching. You can definitely subscribe my channel. I put a lot of other videos as well concerned about enterprise integration. So I will put my channel name here. So I think, yeah, this is my channel. I'll put my channel on my blog so you can watch them just in case when I later on I add more video. I do plan to cover seriously on this topic. I do believe this is very important. From ESB point of view, transformation of messages from one format to another is the most important part. As a developer, to understanding the detail is also very important. All right, I think that will end my demo on DataWeave. I will cover more advanced topic later on. Thank you for watching, and hopefully you like it, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.